This past week was the 25th anniversary of one of the best action movies from one of the most unexpected directors who, if you talk about him today, you sort of laugh and like, but there was a time when he was a big deal. The movie I'm talking about last week was the 25th anniversary of The Rock.
Yeah.
Starring Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Widely regarded as one of Michael Bay's best films, if not his best movie. And an all-star cast. The most ridiculous plot. But it's the performances. And Michael Bay, before he went like really like,
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, exactly, 200%. The Rock is actually a very, very entertaining and good movie. How do you feel about The Rock 25 years later, Keith?
I saw it in the theater. I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Really? Wow. That's awesome, dude.
Still, it's very good. It's very good. It's definitely of its time,
Oh yeah, late 90s action.
Yeah. I watched it maybe 2 years ago. Watched it. I hadn't seen it in a while. It was 2019 because we were just going through a bunch of movies with the kids as they're getting older. I'm showing them stuff that I used to watch when I was their age. So, this is one of them, and but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. There's a lot of kind of cartoonish characters in it. Some of the villains are very over the top. Yeah, very cartoonish. But we actually are going to. We'll probably talk. We will be actually talking about this movie in our discussion tonight. Sean Connery is James Bond in this movie.
That's what I was hearing, dude. Like a lot of people are saying this is like a kind of a closing chapter for Sean Connery's James Bond.
James Bond, yes, they say because that's been the popular fan theory forever. I think I forgot what his alias. It's just John Doe, right? Or was it John Doe or just?
Yeah,
they called him
John Doe.
He had a name though.
They took everything from him, the government, once they caught him. And if you haven't seen the movie, correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, but he's a former SAS.
He was a British agent. Yep.
Yeah, operative, and
who got caught.
Yes.
And they disavowed him. Basically, they just said we don't know him. So
the character's name is John Patrick Mason.
Mason. Yep. Which an alias for James Bond, I'm sure, but it's James Bond. Like he's basically James Bond. So, he's just a British agent that got caught and then just sat in American prison forever.
Hey,
so.
Star Drew.
Welcome to the Rock. I've never been to Alcatraz. All these years I've lived here, I've never been to Alcatraz.
Yeah, I always see it from a distance. Every time I either drive through Sacramento or San Francisco, or I'm in San Francisco. Oh, look, there's Alcatraz Island.
Exactly. I've never actually gone out there for a tour. But it's a pretty good movie. Like you said, it is a ridiculous thing to steal these missiles and launch them into San Francisco. But like I said, we're going to talk. I'm just like I said, give you the hint. We're going to talk about Ed Harris later.
When Michael Bay gets it right, I feel like he really gets it right.
Yeah. He has some heavy hitters performing. Like he has some good actors in this movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sean Connery decided to do a Michael Bay movie.
Right.
Just think about that. Think about that, kids. Before Transformers 4 and 5 and Underground 6, which I turned off after like 15 minutes.
Yeah, same here. I couldn't.
Michael Bay was a very respectable filmmaker, especially in the action genre, with The Rock, Bad Boys, and I think he did one more.
Armageddon was right after The Rock, I think.
Man, dude, Armageddon was like I don't know. There was something about Armageddon. It was a
movie.
huge, massive hit.
Yeah, it was. I saw it in the theater too, man. It's a silly movie, of course, but it's
Yeah.
good though. It's fun. It's good. You care about all those characters, and um, I'd probably choose Armageddon over The Rock if I had to choose between two. But The Rock's right up there though. Definitely, it's top maybe of Michael Bay. It's not the greatest. I mean, top 3 or 4. It's not. We're not talking about, but definitely top 3. But I think I'd probably go with Armageddon.
Like, man, The Rock, what makes The Rock great? And for me, it's like, it's how great the antagonist is,
Yeah.
or the villain, Ed Harris. And as General Francis Humble, he
Mhm.
is incredible. And it got me thinking, like, man, in that movie, you really understand his motives. You understand what he's doing, and you kind of like him even more as a villain when you find out he never intended to kill people. He
Right.
never intended to use lethal force, When spoiler, if you haven't seen The Rock, spoiler, when the guy on the bottom left of your screen, Michael Bean,
Yeah.
who when I thought he would have been in more of the movie, but
Yeah.
he gets him and his entire team of Navy SEALs
Maybe
get gunned
Shields.
down
Mm-hmm.
in the shower room by the Marines. Ed Harris is there screaming cease fire.
Stop.
And
Stop.
just,
Stop.
like when he
Yeah.
cancels the rocket in the last minute, going back to the beginning of the movie when he's telling the kids, the little girls, to get back on the bus, to get off the island right before they take over. It's just, man, like, what a great villain. And it made me think, like, what are some other great villains in movies? Villains that we understand, we maybe sympathize with, and dare I say, kind of root for. And I came up with this list right here. It's just, now some of these are a far fetched. They're a stretch. Okay, but for the
Yes.
sake of conversation, I want to spend however long we spend just talking about movie villains that we kind of side with. Maybe they could have gone about it a different way, a better way. I mean, they definitely could have gone about it a different way. But do you have any in mind? Because I asked you to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I got 6 here.
Okay.
2 of them are right here on your paper or on
Okay.
the
Let's start.
screen.
Let's start with those two.
So we started with General Hummel from The Rock, obviously at Harris. Um,
Hmm.
uh, Everything you said. I mean, he even admitted that he was bluffing. Right? He said he's just what they had the internal argument with him and with David Morse, who played his number 2.
Yeah, his right
Uh,
hand.
yeah, and even he was kind of conflicted, but he was like, "Listen, we made this choice to make this move. We got to see it through to the end." And Ed Harris is like, "No, what do you, guys? I'm not going to kill these people. You think I'm crazy? I'm not crazy. You know,
Yeah.
the government. I made a threat. The government called our bluff. That's it. We're done." And they're like, "No." So it was really a good scene in that movie. Um, but what he's asking for was right. And something that's an actual problem in real life is the way the government kind of just forgets about these veterans that go to war. Some of them lose their lives, of course. They lose the
They
ones
make
that
the
don't lose.
ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that survive get to come home. They have injuries, they have missing limbs, and PTSD,
PTSD. Yep.
all kinds of trauma and stuff that they have to deal with for the rest of their lives and don't get taken care of. Which they should be. Veterans should be set for life. They shouldn't have no problems. They shouldn't have any housing issues. There should not be a homeless veteran. I don't want to get political, but
No, I'm
veterans
with
should
you.
not be.
I think, you know what? I think the whole world is actually with you. This isn't
Yeah,
this isn't controversial at all. Like,
yeah. It should not be
I
a homeless veteran. No,
yeah,
homeless veteran should be
I'm
homeless.
with you.
Yeah. So let alone poor or having trouble trying to pay bills or whatever. But everything should be taken care of. Housing, education, whatever, work. So, and that's what he's trying to do. And yes, he was asking for money, but he wanted money to go to the families
To the
of a bunch
families,
of,
yeah.
yeah, and obviously his guys thought they were mercenaries, which they said, one of them said, we're mercenaries. As soon as we made this decision, we became mercenaries. And he's
I think
like,
that was
nah,
Candyman.
Candyman. Yeah. Tony
I think I
Todd.
yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah, we're mercenaries, So
Yeah.
he was one of the guys I was talking about that was kind of cartoonish, but he was good though. I liked him. But yeah, no, he's a villain. Honestly, I remember sitting in the movie being like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I'm with him, I like, and the fact like he didn't want anybody to get hurt. He just wanted the government to do the right thing, and the way just that scene when they had to put down the Navy SEALs, like he was devastated. He was devastated when that happened. Michael Bean's team, like he did not want that to happen. And so you could tell like his heart was in the right place. Obviously he went about it the wrong way, but yeah, so he was one of the first people I thought about.
One other thing I'll add is that the ironic thing is that he ended up making the ultimate sacrifice to undo his mistake.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
He talked about, I think he said 83 Marines weren't even paid benefits. They didn't even get a burial.
Mm-hmm.
And now he had to, sacrifice his own life. And, one of the things that you could take away from that's good is that, in the beginning of the movie, one of the first things he does is visit his wife, who is no longer there, who has moved on. And now he's reunited with her. And I don't know, like, great character, man. Ed Harris, like, he might have, like, gave a better performance than Sean Connery in that movie. Like, he might have been the best performance.
Yeah, I think I might agree. I think I might be with you on that. Those two definitely have the standouts. But yeah, I probably would give it to him.